Hi guys, Oily here. Thanks for joining us. I'm trying to make sure my external is still muted. Anyway, um, yes, it's been a while. I'm so excited to be back. We've been doing a lot of remodeling our bathroom. We had to do pretty much take it down to the floor completely out, down to the dirt, and start over again on it, except for one section. So finally got the main stuff done. Still have a little bit of caulking to do, a little bit of, trim work to put up and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's done. Thank God. So happy. But it's been nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been nice soaking in my brand new tub that looks clean when it's clean, and have my tub surround that looks clean, and it's just beautiful and white and lovely. I love it. It's still a farmhouse, okay? It's like my husband said. It's like putting a dress on a turd. But
Oh, it's got character.
It's still nice to have. So I'm excited about it. Hey, Wee Tree. Hey, Living Frugal and Prepping. Welcome, welcome. I don't know if Sandy's is still out there or not. She usually pops in and out. And the Stealth Camper. And 8th was out there a while ago. I don't know if she's still there. Athrenas. So anyway, I'm sure more people will come in as they see that we're live now. So.
And as long as we have Wee Tree Bonsai, all is good in our hood.
Flint and Still is out there.
No.
I missed you. Hey, the Stealth Camper. Good. I'm glad you're out there. Thanks for joining us. Well, tonight we are talking bug out bags. But first, let me introduce you to our panel. There's Mouse Toes. There she is. Deb and Hawaii Volcano Squad. And me, the Oily Prepper, Tasha. And let's see here. Hey, Jen. Hello, everyone. I'm listening while cooking dinner. Well, alrighty. Okay. So, hey, Sandy. So, before we get started, I want to tell you about some incidences that are going on in close to town of mine, a place that I go grocery shopping for the most part and do my little things like that. There's been a lot of instances of people taking pictures of other people's children, following them around, following teenage girls around, stuff like that. And since it's off of I-40, they think it might be sex traffickers. I was in the Dollar General store, Dollar General, and we're talking about a man that was following a woman and her son around in the Dollar General, so taking pictures of him. So it's kind of scary, so please keep an eye on your little ones. Also, make your teenagers be aware of the situation and tell them what's going on, because we sure don't want any more babies taken and used in that manner, or anything else done to them for that matter. So. Oh, Flint and Still's listening while leatherworking, but I am without the little yellow hammer like our friend Mr. Tolly. I see.
What's he working on?
That's a sexy yellow hammer.
Flint, what are you working on as far as leatherworking goes? What project? Okay. While you're letting us know that, a guy going up behind girls in Target and taking pictures of their skirts, dresses. Oh, God, just such creeps out there, I swear. Okay, I'm back over to the internal because I do better if I can see myself and make sure I'm in view when I'm talking. So if somebody directs something at me, let me know, and I'll go back over to the external. So,
excuse me, siren interruption. Real, 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 real. Attention all cars. Lee Ralph has entered the chat room and the crowd goes wild. Woohoo! Sorry.
Welcome. I hadn't seen you in a while. Welcome, welcome. I sure have missed you.
Flint says he's got a new Leatherman Wave, a multi-tool, and he's making a cross-draw sheet.
Excellent.
Awesome. Talking about bug-out bags, go bags. It's just an emergency bag that you can grab and run out the door with, okay? You don't have to be some psycho crazy person to have a bug-out bag, go bag. And I'm going to tell you
But it's okay if you are.
Yeah, if you are. More power to you. At least you'll be prepared if something does happen, all right? You can be as paranoid as you like. Just get off the drugs, okay? Okay. So, in most emergencies, staying at home or bugging in, as a lot of preparedness people call it, that's our first choice. There are times, though, when that is just not an option. For instance, something like a house fire, a flood, tornado, hurricane, civil unrest. There are things that you're not going to be able to stay home. And if you can't, then you need a bag pre-packed and ready to go. I have friends that live in Colorado. They live near a chemical plant, where they produce, cleaning products, things like that, I guess. They have to have a readiness bag ready at all times so that they can evacuate quickly in the event of an emergency. So, just think about that. Jay Watterson, 69, is out there. Bag, Daryl Dixon only needs a crossbow and a busy knife. If it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for me. Yeah,
buddy.
No. No, you need a bag. Okay. You need a bag. You're no Daryl Dixon, dude, okay?
See, Daryl's got a whole production crew and that sex appeal going because all the women's are going to take care of him. He's got it going on. I like that, JW. Right. The
women will be doing everything for him.
Yes.
Okay. So in order to choose what is best for you, you need to determine what emergencies you're preparing for and the time limit you expect to be away from your home. Do you think you'll be gone for just a few days or for an unlimited amount of time? Like my bug-out bag, we prepare to be away for an extended period of time to be able to acquire food. So I have a mini fishing kit and some things like that in each of our bags. But, it just depends how long you plan to be away. Be gone for just a few days or for an unlimited amount of time if you ever return. Once you have made that decision, then you can calculate how much of your basics to have in your bag or ways to acquire those basics. Store these in a very accessible location when you get your bag packed, okay? A lot of people store their stuff down in the basement or up in the attic, and if there's a fire or something, you may not have a chance to get down to get them, okay? You need them in a place that is on the main floor of your house, preferably near your exits, if at all possible, okay? Be sure to check your bags every 3 months to replace with more current meds, check for outdated food, and to put copies of more recent utilities in. I'll give you an example. There were recent tornadoes in Elk City, Oklahoma. The tornado wiped out a whole neighborhood plus a bunch in the countryside, several ranches. Those people were given permits. The ones that lived in city limits were given permits to go in to salvage, but they had to prove that they lived in those homes. Well, if your home's blown away, how do you prove you lived in your home? You have to have a copy within
any
the last
natural disaster. We had a
recent utility bills.
Yeah, we had when my place burned down after the Malibu fire. Yeah, they let people in, but you had to have like something to show that you actually lived there because they didn't want to just let looters in. So
yep, exactly.
And on that note, Oily, in mine, I have a little, I slipped it into a Ziploc bag, but I have the real one, not with originals, but copies, sealed in a food saver bag so it can't get wet. And it's my insurance papers, my driver's license copy, my wind, hail, flood insurance, and the plat for my home. because just what you were saying, you have to prove it's yours, and where is it? And it just that's a very small amount of paperwork for stuff, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so they needed within the last 3 months proof of residency. Of course, they wouldn't just take their licenses, that address was on their license. They wanted some kind of utility bill in their name showing that they still live there.
Yep.
Items that could need to be replaced, change out seasonal clothing, add items that are now relevant, and pack according to changing needs. Like a baby, for instance, they grow fast. Their needs change quickly. Their sizes change quickly. So you have to, anytime something changes on that, you need to change out their bags. Small children's needs grow and change constantly. And don't forget about your pets. Our family has bags on events we will need to be away for a week or more, so that's kind of our deal. So
pets can carry bags too. Pets can have a bag.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They have ones that actually go like a saddle bag over their back on each side. That's perfect. I do need to still get those for our dogs. But in the least, things like a bag that you could, like for us, we're in a tornado area. So we have a cellar. So we can put cold water and food down for the dogs. None of our dogs take any kind of medication, so we don't have to worry about that. But still, the leashes need to be on the hooks, ready to go to hook to them, to their collars to get them down in the cellar if a tornado's coming. And I don't wait until a tornado's 2 miles away from my house or right up on my back doorstep before we go down to the cellar. If I see a storm's out, I go ahead and get down in there. If I have to wait 30, 45 minutes before the storm gets to us and another 20, 30 minutes before it passes, that's fine. But the point is, if you have your bags ready to go for all involved, then it just takes that much worry off of your plate when something does suddenly occur. You're not having to stress about it all then. Okay, so in order to pack a bug out bag, you have to have a bug out bag. So that's kind of on point there. Let me check over in the external real quick. Okay, just making sure. Okay, Mouse, just let me know if you see any comments in the external that...
Yeah, Stealth Camper says he has the Camelback ambush bag. I looked at that bag and I didn't like the straps on it, and I saw somebody else. But I have a Camelback mule, and I put pads on it, but that's a whole nother... That's not actually my bug out bag. That's my day mission bag.
But that's the groovy thing, is being able to customize a bag. Like I'm 60, so I like the Alice pack because it's got the waist strap and then the one in the front, and it's also got the frame on it. And I like the smaller pouches and that sort. And just being able to customize it the way that you want it. Just like you were talking about, Oily, having it at the closest location. I'll give you an example. I spent about 18 minutes in my elevator shaft the other day with a frightening storm. And so what I did was I grabbed my purse and, of course, my cell phone and then our car keys. And I sat in there. My husband sleeps through it. He's just not bothered, right? I'm from Louisiana. I know that people die when they sleep, right? So the next morning, my husband gets up to go to work at the coffee shop, his big retiree career. He loves it. And he had to wake me up and go, I can't find my keys. I think I've gone crazy. He'd walked under the house, checked in the car. I didn't take them out and hang them back up. But because my bags are already in there, it was just easy to grab my purse and keys, sit on a 5-pound bucket upside down, wait out the shaken house on 12-foot piers, And so that's another thing, is remembering to take it out, because I wouldn't take my purse if I were leaving my house. For a woman, that's her go-to-work bag. You know what I mean? We can change the oil in a car, fit, and we got first aid in that, and the thing doesn't weigh 7 pounds. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, when everybody's different in their needs, just like you said, Mouse, so getting a good bag is important, but the thing is you have to also think about the environment where you live and where you're going to be carrying it. That's going to be dressed all in military garb and have a military backpack in the middle of the city is probably going to stand out like a sore thumb, and people are going to say either be one of two things. They're going to say, "Ooh, I'm staying away from that person," because if they're that prepared, they probably have a weapon as well to protect that. Or somebody else might be looking at them and saying, "Hey, they got a lot of stuff in that bag, I'll bet."
yes.
So we're
Or
going to
they
find a
might
way
look at him and say, "I want to be that guy's friend because he's got weapons."
It may be, but I can't tell anybody what kind of bag to get or what's best for them in their particular situation. For us, we live out in the middle of nowhere. Shawnee and I, my daughter's 22. So she and I both they're like a tactical bag, and we like that, like a black tactical bag that we have because it's very compact and it's easier for us. It's not so cumbersome to carry, but we do have the Alice packs, the military packs for my husband and my son.
Yeah, Alice packs you can get them for a decent price. They aren't that expensive if you look around.
Yep.
I got lucky on my bag because I just happened to win a contest on YouTube, and I won a Rush 24 bag.
Nice.
And what I really like about that isn't just the hydration bladder space in it for it, but the best part is the yoke and strap system. I mean, it really spreads the weight out on your shoulders evenly. It's not like gonna, sink into your shoulders. So if you have to carry a lot of stuff, it won't kill your shoulder. It won't all be like on one spot on your shoulder. It really, that yoke system spreads it out nice and evenly.
That's another thing. If somebody's like grabbing a cheap backpack from the dollar store or something, they may not. The thing is, if that's all you can afford, that's better than nothing, okay? But if you can afford to get a more high quality pack, then that's what you need to do. Because
Rush bags aren't that expensive, and they're great. I think 511 makes them, I believe. And they're awesome.
Hey, BC, welcome.
They have the different sizes: the 12-hour bag, the 24, the 72, so depending on how big you need your bag to be.
What's nice now is even at CVS drugstores, they sell the little mini shampoos and conditioners and soaps like you used to get in a hotel.
Yeah, they have a section where they have all those, little versions of things, little bottles.
Yeah, I have a miniature like baby powder, and we've each got one of those, and they don't take up any more space than what I have these papers in. So you can't beat that with a stick. Because now my husband used to travel a lot, and so I have all these miniature shampoo, mouthwash, even dental floss. Now hotels have it all on the wall in the shower, to where they don't have it anymore. But those are huge to me, and I have a lot of old pantyhose or new thigh highs that I have soap in, so you can tie it on a tree and still be able to wash your hands, because we're not used to being funky, and in the South it's hot and we're going to be funky, and I want to be able to wash my hands a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, I have those items, which we'll discuss in a minute, but yeah, I have those items for sanitation. And infection is real easy to come by if you're not clean. Just your hands alone, if they're not clean and you're eating or touching your face, not a good thing. That you get in situations like that, that's where you end up with cholera and all kinds of communicable diseases. Hey, Finger Lakes.
There's going to be a lot of foot and mouth disease, like a lot of children still get. Yeah, because they're not used to it.
Well, and when people aren't prepared, or something suddenly happens where they don't have a bag already ready, there you go. You know, they don't have anything. If you have a bag prepared and you're ready, it may not be everything you need, but it'll be some great staples to start with to build on. So important. So to decide if it's something you feel like you should blend in, sort of the gray man type of concept where you're blending in with the environment and the people in the environment, or are you going to be one that stands out? It just kind of depends on you. So the country, so like I said, we didn't worry too much about having like tactical or military looking bags.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and when you're packing those, you've got to consider different things. You also have to consider, even though you think you have a vehicle, no matter what kind of bag you pack, it's just going to be riding in the vehicle. Remember, you don't know what is going to happen. Are you going to be able to get fuel? Are you going to be able to get to where you need to go? I know
roadblocks, traffic jams. You know,
exactly.
You may have to get out of your vehicle and walk. You know.
Yes.
To rush out of your vehicle and grab at your bag and run in certain situations. And I know this sounds like outlandish, crazy stuff, but there are people. There was a man in Elk City that was killed because he was stuck in a traffic jam in the middle of the country because a tornado was coming. There were multiple vehicles, and he couldn't get out.
Yep.
Drive off, and he waited too long before he got out of his vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if he had just had something to grab and go and gotten to safety, he would have been okay.
Yes.
So it's very important, you know, to go ahead and plan for the worst. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. And that way, no matter what situation arises, you're prepared.
You never want to have to bug out, but if you have to bug out, the good part about having a bag is, you know, you just grab it and go, you know, and you don't have to sit there. I mean, if you have your bag and it's ready with the stuff you need in it, then, you know, you don't have to spend like an hour trying to figure out as your emergency situation is impending and approaching on you, whatever it is. You know, you don't have to figure out, well, should I bring peanut butter or do
Yep.
where's the knife and where'd my titanium sport go, or, you know, whatever. But
Yep. And you're right on, because people are going to be herding cats. Mom, dad, kids, might be teenagers, might be toddlers. And if at the same time, when you were talking about the vehicle, we talked about this in our off-air chats back in the day, but in Houston, Texas, when they had to do, I think it's called Contra Line, and they turned the traffic, you know, both traffic going the other way, where people were stuck in gridlock for 18 hours. Hurricane thankfully turned. All their efforts were in vain. But one of the stories that stuck out was, for example, I drive a pickup truck. Okay, so I have a large bed with a cover over it. My stuff's going to be in the back there, right? So this family had 2 daughters, and her menstrual cycle started. So he kind of pulled over. All the gas stations and stuff are closed. Pulled over on the service road, and of course her bag or whatever she had packed is way up at the front of the truck. In other words, behind the front seats. He had to pull out his gas cans, all kind of things. When he got her bag out, there were 3 men standing behind his truck around his daughter and said, "Give us your gas." So just what you were saying, when you have to get out of your vehicle, you're vulnerable. So it'd be the same if you have an SUV, not making it apparent everything that's sticking up in your truck. And another one was an older woman who got out and had to go potty. So they pull over, she goes in the woods, and she comes back, and her husband was knocked out, and they took his truck. And they
so the moral of the story is go potty before you bug out.
Well, they were stuck in traffic for 18 hours, so they were kind of screwed. And so from that thing that happened, my husband and I decided, what will we do in our car? We're 60 years old. We look vulnerable. We're not. But I got the Freshette for Women, which is a stand-up urinary device. And I just put it in a little makeup bag. And in my car, is just a tub. It's just a coffee mate container. If I'm in the woods, I must stand up and, write my name in the dirt like a man, right? But to be able to stay in my car, it's a wide enough container that we could use, that we're not going to be out of our vehicle and vulnerable because there's only the two of us. So it's people think there's a lot of safety in a car, but you have to get out. You might have a flat. Can you get to your tire easily, or is everything covering it up in the back of your trunk that you're going to be pulling all these things out that people are going to need and see you on the side of the road?
Squib, you're making all kinds of noise. Sorry to interrupt. Let's mute him real quick. Yeah, there you go.
So you have to think of, what could I possibly need out of it, and what's going to keep me from getting out of my vehicle? Because everybody's on the interstate. The booger man's just going to zip, knock you out, zip on the service road and duck back into the city. Cops ain't got time looking for him. There's cars breaking down. There's gridlock. And now you're hurting on the side of the road. So there's all kind of, I think people think they're safe in their car, and they're more vulnerable in their car.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some drills. There's some drills for, defending yourself in a car with a gun, but, and they're on the internet. You can find them.
And there's something to be said for situational awareness as well. It can help that situation, but definitely it's better to, safe than sorry, for sure. So when we're talking about things to pack in our bags, we have to remember the rules of 3 for prepping. 3 minutes without air. So you need a good air mask, like an N95, preferably more than one. The filtration only lasts an hour or 2, sometimes even less, depending on the air quality, what's going on, what contaminants you're dealing with. If you opt for a gas mask, you also have to be sure to have extra filters. Remember that smaller children they have smaller facial features, so they need something that's going to actually fit to their face. So you have to remember that.
And check the dates on your filters to make sure they're still good.
Exactly. Okay, and then 3 hours without shelter in inclement weather. I got a message a few minutes ago that Oklahoma Prepper is about home, so hopefully he can get on here. 3 hours without. Oh, well, hey.
Hey, Oklahoma.
There he is. Hey, stranger.
Give him a sec to get his mic up.
3 hours without shelter in inclement weather. So you need to have either a tent or a tarp or tools for making shelter, but a tarp is well worth putting in there. You can use it to place on the ground, put leaves under it and put that on top, or vice versa, to insulate yourself from the ground, so you don't lose as much body heat. You can use it as a tarp. You can put it over a line fashioned for a tent. Make sure you either pack lightweight tent pegs, or you can fashion some, out of sticks or whatever in the bush if you need to.
There's a famous MASH scene with Frank Burns about that in the Bugout episode.
Really?
Yeah, they're bugging out at MASH, and Frank Burns runs up to the Jeep, and somebody's putting the tent pegs up into a truck. He says, just slaps them, and it slaps the tent pegs, and they all fall on the ground. He says, "We don't need those. We can make new ones when we get there."
No, I believe it. The Oklahoma Prepper has survival shelter Sundays. So he shows some different kinds of shelters to make using stuff from the environment. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You have to check his videos out on that.
It's not that hard to make it. It's not that hard to make a tent peg, but yeah.
No. A good wool blanket is a wonderful asset to have as well, or because the wool will help keep keep you very warm and stuff. Kind of depends on the situation you're in, if you're in a wet environment or a dry environment or whatever, depending on what kind of situation you're in, will depend on what kind of blanket you want. But you want something to keep you warm. Having a large, like, contractor trash bag, if nothing else, you can stuff that with leaves and then to tie it and then lay on it to insulate you from the ground. You can also stuff it with leaves and cover up with it, you know, if you're needing that
Make it into a pillow.
You know where that really helps, Oily? When you're in the South and everything you're going to be raking up's got a spider or a roach in it, and then you tie that little bag up and it gives you some less creepophonic feeling, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we have the brown recluse, which, you know, will just cause your muscle to rot away. Or we have the black widow, who's wonderful poison, nice and thick as well. So yeah, we have those two really fun ones here in our area.
Lots of critters have venom. Snakes.
Anybody have anything else to add on the shelter? I'm sure there's lots of stuff you guys might want to add on the shelter.
Mine is like you with tarp, because South Carolina, odds are it's going to be hot. I could either use it on the ground, and it's very light for us to carry as well. And for lots of rain, humidity, that sort of thing, I don't need a thick tent. And I like what Lee was saying, a small light tent for non-woods people and young ones, you know what I mean, that can be scared enough as it is without sleeping on the ground. And people laugh at us because we have wool blankets and we're in the South, but just what you said, there's a reason they used them in the military and Russia and everywhere else, is they still function when they're soaking wet. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing thing, right, from the animals. So
exactly.
Just having a place to kind of stay dry for us to keep out the humidity or the heavy dews in the morning.
You know, I in my Blazer, my SUV, I keep a cot in there all the time. You know, so if I ever have to bug out, there'll already be a cot in there, and my bug out bag has the tarp, and you know, so I'm off the ground, and I got to keep the rain off me, and you know. Set up a campfire, make a cup of coffee, and I'm golden wherever I decide to pull over, you know.
Another thing is, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I have a lag here.
Okay.
Another thing is, you know, one of those little reflective emergency blankets. You can have one of those underneath your body. You can have another one on top of your body to help reflect your body heat back into you. If it's super hot outside, but it to help reflect the sun's heat up away from you.
And they make good emergency markers because some of them are like orange, you know, on one side and reflective on the other. And so if you need to make a marker for, you know, to signal for help, you know.
Exactly.
And they're inexpensive.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, they're very inexpensive. Sorry, go ahead.
What was that?
I think it was back feed or something.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
But yeah, there you are.
Oh, there you go. I had to restart my phone. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
But earlier you were talking about shelters, and I have a few videos up on which I haven't created in a while, which I need to very soon, but because of issues that I've been having, I haven't been able to get around to it. But I have a few videos of how to create shelters out of using a tarp and some paracord and a couple of sticks, basically sticks, tarp, and paracord. So it's really easy as long as you get the idea of how to, what type of tent you want to make or what type of shelter you want to make. It's really easy to get it done.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos on that out there. I'm going to have to check out yours.
There are a lot of videos out there, and you know what? Everybody kind of does it differently, so check out several and practice. You know, don't just think you're going to remember how to do it.
Absolutely.
So they also make, I have bivvies that are like the survival bivvies, that, so it's like a sleeping bag kind of, that you can just slip your body into, that's the reflective. So I have those in our bags, and so if we wanted to, if it was raining out or something, we could slip into our bivvy and then slip into those contractor bags to kind of give us some added protection from the wet if we needed to also. So anything else on that about shelter?
I like it. What he pointed out about don't count on in that situation thinking you'll remember, but practice, because we're going to be a little amped.
I'll say,
yeah.
if nothing else, carry a poncho because it'll, you know, that can, you'll probably need it.
Yes.
And they're very lightweight. They don't weigh much, so.
Yeah, no kidding. This topic is water, the 3 days without water. Notice we're going through the things we have to survive first. Then we'll move on to the other things.
Yeah.
But 3 days.
My thoughts on water would be carry receptacles. You don't have to keep them all filled. I don't, but have a wide variety of, you know, water carrying receptacles, and a lot of different types of filtration. It's not expensive. Costco has water filtration bottles now for cheap, and you can get the extra spare filters off the internet. So, you know, it doesn't cost hardly anything now to get some decent water filtration. And you have different, you know, I like hydrate, you know, Camelback stuff, you know, as far as the hydration bladders go. But I've got canteens and Nalgene bottles, so, you know, it just
and I really say a canteen is the best way.
Yeah, canteen and mess kit have multiple solutions to water filtration. You know.
Yeah, definitely. But definitely still to boil your water in for sure. But you also have to you're in, because for us there isn't a lot of groundwater around here. Like our well is 200 and something feet deep.
Yep.
So you know, there's not a whole lot of groundwater in our area.
Real quick.
So, topographical.
I'm sorry. Real quick, I just wanted to tell you, if you guys are out in a situation where you're just absolutely, you have nothing, you can always remember that there is stuff around you that you can make to carry water in. And even if you come across a plastic bottle, you can still boil water in a plastic bottle. You just have to be really.
Cut the top off of a can you see laying around, and you can boil water in that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And also, you can heat up rocks in a fire and throw them into your water catchment or your water bowl, jug, whatever. Also, another thing is you can also get a cactus. I talk about cactus a lot. Cactus is a universal thing. You can eat it. You can everything. Anything you can think of with cactus, you can pretty much do it with. You can take a big pad of cactus and you can cut it at the stem, and you can actually slide a knife or something sharp down in there, and you can hollow it out, and you can actually turn it into a water jug, and you can actually boil, you know, do the whole rock, heating the rocks method. You can put the rocks inside the cactus and it'll boil it. So, I mean, that's another thing. If you guys are out with absolutely nothing, you can find anything out there in the bush.
Scavenge.
Yeah.
Scavenge for
stuff. Learn how to do that stuff, and I'll put a video on how to do that.
It is important to make sure you know how to acquire things, especially if your things were to be stolen from you. Knowledge is the best tool that you could possibly have.
Yeah, and I would just say that, yeah, at some point in a long-term shit hits the fan scenario, you're going to have to start scavenging for all kinds of things. So, you know, get used to that idea.
Yeah, but back in a bug-out bag. So
okay.
At a time. So if you think about that, you know, a stainless steel bottle. If you're planning on having to boil water, you want to have a stainless steel bottle. You want some kind of iodide tablets if you're near a place that has nuclear going on. Quit, CJ. Oh, sorry, this dog.
It's okay. I like dogs.
But make sure you know the sources in your area as well. Something like a topographical map that shows the water would be good, like your ponds and lakes, etc. Even cow tanks and things like that. You know, a life straw, you could drink directly out of those tanks if you needed to. So purification tablets, things like that. And you need to actually know how to use those tablets. You don't just put the tablets in the water and drink it. You have to wait for so long and things. So you need to know how to use that stuff because
distillation.
Yep, all of that stuff. So be thinking about that. Anything else on water, guys? And just make sure for how long that you're going to be gone, pack a decent amount. Of course, water weighs a lot. So remember that, and the fact that you're not going to be able to just carry a ton of water, but you do need a significant amount, you know.
Walk softly and carry a big hydration bladder.
Definitely.
Somebody mentioned distillation, and there's a process of distillation that you can create a water catchment system with, and all you have to do is dig a small hole in the ground, put a piece of plastic over it, anchor that plastic down around the sides, and drop a rock right in the middle with a cup in the middle. And what that's doing is that's distilling the water, evaporating water, and that water is catching onto the plastic sheeting and then dropping it right down as a funnel directly into that cup.
I've seen videos of that. I've never tried to do it myself.
It works.
It works, and that is such good advice because we get a heavy dew here in the summer. And so we practiced on that, and that's something my dad taught us in Louisiana as well, because particularly in New Orleans, and when things were really unsafe, that is absolutely, and it, like you said, weighs nothing.
Exactly. And another thing, you said you guys get a heavy dew, and you can use that to your advantage. Do the same thing with that dew. You lay your plastic sheeting over it and make it to where it'll catch the water and drain it off into one central area where you can harvest that water. And you've got to get to it quick because once the sun comes up, it'll start to evaporate, and it'll evaporate very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have that advantage as well, and that is just creating water out of air.
Absolutely.
So saran wrap sounds something that would be good. Like your plastic bags and saran wrap sounds like something good that would.
Yeah, and you know what? You can get plastic bags a dime a dozen, but you can also go to the dollar store and get rolls of plastic sheeting a dime a dozen, and that's a lot more plastic for about the same amount of, it's about the same cost. And you have a huge water catchment system. You have plastic shelter, tarp shelter. You have just about anything you can imagine with that one roll, with just one roll of plastic sheeting from the dollar store or a hardware store.
Yeah. It's all things to definitely think about. Is food. Because you can only go 3 weeks without food, but really you're not functioning if you've gone 3 weeks without food.
You're not functioning 3 hours without food.
Right.
Me either.
I don't know if I'm going to get through this chat without food.
Right, there you go. Hawaii.
I ate today, so I'm starving. But one thing.
And that's just an hour.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say about.
So although you. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing I wanted to say about food is it's everywhere. You just have to know where to look and what to look for. Now you have to be very, very careful because there are within 15 foot of anything that can kill you, there's something that can alleviate or reverse that effect. And that's the same thing, it mostly goes with like poison ivy. Within 15 foot of poison ivy, there's something within that area that will reverse those effects. Now that's the same way with food. I can walk all day long through yarrow, and yarrow is it's a small white flower that sits on a long, tall stem with feathery leaves on it. Well, 4 feet away from that, you can be standing in a huge, thinking you're in yarrow, and look down and realize that it's not yarrow, it's hemlock. And you have to be very, very careful and to identify the difference between yarrow and hemlock, because if you eat one leaf of hemlock, it will kill you.
Wow.
And as yarrow, you can make a tea out of it. You can make a pain reliever out of it. You can make just about anything out of yarrow.
That's
Yes.
cool.
So, and that's one of the.
Although you can technically live without food, after about 3 days without it, you'll begin to lose energy and strength and endurance. It's best to have at least a few days.
Calories and
A few days.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch like Naked and Afraid and see what happens to them when they become protein deprived over a period of time. I mean, nothing works, they don't have any energy. They start freaking out and fighting with each other. And
exactly. It's not just the protein, it's the fats, the essential fats that they need as well. Because you can die eating rabbit that's high protein because you're not getting the fats you need. So, exactly. So choose non-perishable, lightweight, and minimal preparation needed. Remember, if you're packing something that requires water, you better make sure you have a good water source to add the water to it.
Yeah, freeze-dried stuff is great because it's lightweight, but
Yeah. 2 meals a day is reasonable, especially in an emergency situation. But just remember, you're going to be being more active. You're going to be doing more stuff. So you're going to be requiring more calories. So keep that in mind. Although they're not the greatest as far as taste and satisfied, like those Day Tricks bars that are like bars. Are a great option to have. You can just break you off a chunk and eat on that if you need to.
Lightweight. You know what I have?
You're hungry, but you're going to get the calories.
Yes.
Yeah, what I have in my house is I just have one drawer that's dedicated to all kinds of different bars. A variety of like Kind bars, a bunch of those, a bunch of Omega protein bars, a bunch of Costco protein bars. I mean, it's just all kinds of different bars. Some are healthier than others, but I just have a whole drawer just filled with bars. So I could just grab it and throw it in the bag, and in my shove them in my pocket, and run out of them. But or if the shit hits the fan, it's an entire drawer full of bars. To keep me going.
Bye, BC. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. And Finger Lakes Prepper is right. Things like nuts are great, like hickory nuts, pecans, walnuts, things like that. Great to have because it gives you the good fat that you need. You also include in your Bugout kit a container to prepare that food in. If it's not one of those bags that you can prepare it in, a lot of Mountain House bags, you can just prepare it in that. But, a good container that can be put on the fire is great to have. To eat like a spoon, fork, spork kind of a thing. Great to have.
What's really great for that is chopsticks. They're free. You can get them at any takeout place, and they sell them at Walmart for cheap too, and they don't weigh hardly anything.
Yeah. A military can opener.
Right.
Military can opener is also great. You're not carrying around this big heavy can opener. But if you're going to get a military can opener, say you're not going to carry cans with you. So what? A military can opener doesn't weigh
Squid. That's squid again. Squid.
A military can opener is great because it's lightweight. As you're going in certain prepping Bugout situations, you may, be foraging for stuff in abandoned places. You run across some cans, you have a way to open it. You're not using a knife, you're not risking injury. So that's great to have on hand.
Yeah,
And remember what I said.
It would suck to like find a bunch of canned food somewhere and then you didn't have any way to open it, and then you tried to open it like and somehow injured your hand or got a major gash or something. You know, so
Real quick,
military can openers cost like 50 cents or less.
They do, but if something happens and you do run across a some type of canned food and you cannot get it open, all you have to do is find something to rub on this. You can do it with concrete and just rub it down until it wears this all the way down, and then you can just pop that lid off, and you've got food out of a can.
I've tried that, and yeah, it does work, but it sure takes up a lot of energy.
It does, but you still get food, and another.
I don't have any other option. Absolutely, but
Yeah.
that's why we're talking now as far as bags. You know what to pack in the bag. Little can opener in there could be a lifesaver and an energy saver and a stress saver for sure.
Absolutely.
And use it prior.
Yes.
Okay, I pull mine out and I use it sometimes just so I remember how to use it. It's very simple to do. I'll have to do a video on it and show you guys how easy it is. So simple. So the things that you're putting in your bag, if you don't have a clue how to use it, like a lighter, I'm sure you know how to use, but if you've never used a military can opener, you might be looking at it like, how in the heck does that work? Well, try it, okay? Watch videos, practice it originally so that you can remember.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a couple things. We're talking about those I guess they're protein bars or fruit bars, whatever. You can make your own oatmeal, raisins, nuts, peanut butter, honey, anything you want. Also, just and all you have to do is just blend it all up and then put it in a cake pan and just smash it down, and you've got, cut them to size, and you've got your bar, and they're actually really good. I made a bunch of them before. Because you're lost out in the woods doesn't mean that, with nothing, you cannot hunt big game. I always keep sticks. There's sticks everywhere. You've seen my pocket slingshots. I have sticks everywhere because what I can do is I can make an atlatl, and I'll type it in the chat so you can see and look it up. It's an atlatl. It's basically a spear thrower, and you make it out of just a stick. You use 2 sticks, but you can also, if you don't have a knife, you can make your own knife. You can go out and find a rock and break it to where it's got a sharp point on it, and once you have that sharp point, then you can go out and you can harvest your meat, your deer, your wild hog. I have. If you guys have ever seen the movie,
I wouldn't go after a hog with just a sharp rock. I mean, they have tusks.
That's true, but like I said, if you have an atlatl, you can actually go and hunt. That's what I was going to say. Is if you guys have ever seen the show Hillbilly Hand Fishing, or I think it's Mudcat, those guys actually live. I know those guys. They actually live just about 30 minutes away from me in another town here in Oklahoma, and he's got videos on his Skipper Benz. He's got videos on his Facebook to where he makes his own atlatls, and he will take them out hog hunting, and he has the video of him hog hunting with an atlatl, successfully taking down hogs.
Did he have a dog with him?
He doesn't. He doesn't have dogs. He just he takes them out. He'll stand in a corner of a pasture or something, and he'll wait as they run by, and he'll launch that dart, and he'll catch and harvest a hog with it. But
if you
like
have a good hunting dog, they'll really help you a lot.
Yes, they will. But that's also something else that you're going to have to worry about taking care of other than yourself.
Right. That's fantastic.
But Also, like I said, you can take a spear. You can make a spear out of a stick, and you can go and hunt fish. You can go and get small game, rabbits, just about anything you could think of, and you can harvest the meat and eat it as well. So just because you're lost in the woods, if, like for example, me, and I say this all the time because I'm not bragging about my abilities and my skills. I'm confident about myself and my skills and my abilities. That you can put me on Naked and Afraid, and I will have the most epic shelter build ever. I will have multiple hunting weapons, and I will actually be harvesting large game, of course, depending on where I'm going to be at. But, for example, here in Oklahoma, I can go out in a Naked and Afraid scenario, and I can hunt a deer, and I will have shelter, I will have fire, I will have food and water, and by no later than tomorrow evening.
I would never do that show though. I like all my gadgets and guns and stuff. I don't want to go out there without any shoes or anything, and then like one survival item. Fuck that. I want like a whole bag full of stuff. So that's that's me.
Well, I want my goodies in my bag, but I want the knowledge to do it the other way if my goodies break or are stolen or lost or something for some reason,
Yeah.
But I'm one of those, I want how to do it the hard way, but I'm not going to pack everything that's going to be done the hard way. I'm going to just like, okay, yes, ferrocerium rods and the knives, like somebody said in the external. Yeah, they're great. They're cool. It's kind of fun to do that. But if I'm planning on for survival, I'm packing a torch lighter.
Yes.
That is going to be windproof and work in the rain, and be able to get the job done as quickly and efficiently with as little amount of energy as possible. But with that said, I know how to use a ferrocerium rod. I know how to use magnesium and flint and steel, so to speak. I know how to do all that, but I'm not going to. That's when I'm packing in my bag. I'm packing those, but I pack at at least two to three different types of items. Which brings us into our last topic, which is the fire kit. You need more than one way to make fire. You need to know how to make fire more than one way. I recommend a good quality torch lighter as they are more effective in the wind. Flint and steel and a magnesium fire starter are all great options, along with waterproof, windproof matches. You can make your own matches waterproof, by dipping them in some melted candle wax. That keeps the water off of them, and then when you strike, it strikes that wax away.
I have so many ways of making fire in my Bugout bag. It's not even funny.
I mean, it's an essential thing to have fire.
Everything flows from fire throughout the history of mankind. Fire led to bronze, led to swords, and they're called firearms because fire makes them. Steel evolved. Everything relates to fire. So mankind needs fire. It was the first invention that everything that man ever did flows from. So you're going to need it. So I have multiple ways of starting it. I mean, my favorite is the Zippo with a butane insert. But I have other ways of making fire, and I have all kinds of tinder in there. And petroleum jelly. And you name it.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Is this is the quickest and easiest and the best fire starter that I've ever been able to do with under $2. And I take bottles. You can get these on Amazon. You can get packs of 10 or 20 of them for a couple of dollars. You can go to the dollar store, baby oil, cheap brand. It doesn't have to be an awesome brand. And for $1, and you can buy a pack of cotton for $1. And for just a couple of dollars, you have all of the fire tinder you need. And because cotton itself, by itself, is a flash tinder, which means as soon as it takes a spark, it's gonna splash and then it's gonna be gone. But you add that oil, that Vaseline, that Vicks, that any type of oil-based anything to it, it's gonna hold that flame a lot quicker or a lot longer. And that's how I start my wood stove every day during the winter. And that's how I start my grill outside. Which once we get done chat, I'm going to go and grill, and that's exactly how I'm going to start my grill is with a paracetam rod and a cotton ball with baby oil on it.
Cool. Make a video out of it.
I'll do it.
You know, I have a baggie, you know, in my Bugout bag, which has just it's full of a ton of, you know, wood shavings that I shaved off. You know, I was sitting around doing nothing, so I just shaved off, made a bunch of, you know, tinder dust, you know, and so
exactly. Stack the odds against. I mean,
why is everybody in the chat talking about using Doritos and potato chips for something besides food? They're trying to start fires with potato chips and Doritos when you should eat them.
That's blasphemy.
Stack the odds in your favor, people. Stack the odds in your favor. You know, it's all great and it's kind of cool to go out and do these things on your own. And yes, you need to know how to do it, but stack the odds in your favor. This is survival. This is life and death. You know, stack the odds in your favor. You need fire for food preparation, water sanitation, self-sanitation. You need it for light, in heat, and to keep predators away, and so many other things. So just, you know, pack easy, simple ways for you to do these things. And we still have so much to cover on Bugout bags that isn't even funny. We still have almost an entire, we basically have at least another page's worth. So we've just gone through one page. So we have a page and a sliver worth. So we will have to continue this next week as we are just about out of time. I thank everybody for their input. Next week, we'll talk about light, protection, communication, cordage, clothing, sanitation, first aid, documentation, and comfort items. You know, if you have little ones, you got to be thinking about them too, and for yourself, having something in there that gives you something to look forward to, that kind of cheers you up, pictures, things like that. That can all help you to make you feel a little better in a bad situation. 3 things that I've done doing remodeling on our bathroom. I've planted a 5-in-1 apple tree. I planted muscadine grapes. I planted strawberries, some herbs and medicinal herbs. Those are some of the prepping things that I've done for this week. What about y'all? And then we'll call it an evening.
Every time I go grocery shopping, go get the bags of rice I got. Every time I go grocery shopping, I get these little bags of instant rice, and I get about 4 or 5 of them. And sometimes they're good. I like them. Sometimes I'll eat them. And here they are right here.
Uncle Ben's.
Different kind of flavors. All you have to do is add hot water to them, and it's done. And these will last quite a while as long as they're still sealed. And throw a couple in your Bugout bag, and these are $1 a piece. And they actually, I'm a big guy. I eat a lot of food, and one bag will actually fill me if I'm not starving to death like I am today. But you know, that's I just went grocery shopping and I picked those up. So you know, that's one of the things that I did as far as towards food.
Absolutely.
And that's something easy to pick up. Like you said, do it each time you go to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
It doesn't take a fortune to start prepping.
Nope.
That's correct.
Yep. And mine was just working in the vegetable garden, greenhouse. And of course, I had to be practicing my fishing skills, you know, because it's cast netting time to catch the shrimp and the mud mummies.
Oh, yeah?
So I was perfecting that, you know, a lot, to the point that somebody needs to vacuum and mop. But I had to practice.
Awesome. What about you, HVS? Oh, he might have stepped away.
Ah.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Love each and every one of you. I'm so glad that the Oklahoma Prepper's back. I'm glad to be back. I sure have missed all of you. Hi, Faith and Melody Acres. Sorry I didn't say hi to you sooner. I do not know what the optimal ratio is on rice to beans, just Dano. Sorry, I don't know that.
Okay.
Maybe y'all can figure that out and let me know, okay?
The optimal ratio is to taste.
Well, if
There you
beans
go.
make you gassy, you're going to have more rice than beans. If beans make you gassy, you're going to want to have more rice than beans.
And toilet paper.
All right, well,
Toilet
love
paper.
each of you. Everyone for coming. Thank you, panel, for coming and participating and putting up with the delay. I keep interrupting you, and I don't mean to. It's the stupid delay. My internet's really slow for some reason today. Thanks again. Love y'all, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.